أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم. تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون. لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون. إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون. وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون. وسواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم. إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين. واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون. قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون. قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين. قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم. قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين أتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون. وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون. أأتخذ من دونه آلهة يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغن عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون. إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين. إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون. قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين. وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين. إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون. يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون. ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون. وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون. وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون. وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولهم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إنا أصحاب الجنات اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا الصراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فما استبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعامره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينظر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين. أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وظللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يصرون وما يعلنون. أولم يرى الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا وناسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بل لا وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. جزاك الله. فاتحة. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أسألك برحمتك التي وسعت كل شيء وبقوتك التي قهرت بها كل شيء وخضع لها كل شيء وظل لها كل شيء وبجبروتك التي غلبت بها كل شيء وبعزتك التي لا يقوم لها شيء وبعظمتك التي ملأت كل شيء وبسلطانك الذي على كل شيء وبوجهك الباقي بعد فناء كل شيء وبوجهك الباقي بعد فناء كل شيء وبأسمائك التي ملأت أركان كل شيء وبعلمك الذي أحاط بكل شيء وبنور وجهك الذي أضاء له كل شيء. يا نور يا قدوس يا نور يا قدوس يا نور يا أول الأولين ويا آخر الآخرين. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تهتك العصام. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل النقام. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تغير النعام. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تحبس الدعاء. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل البلاء. اللهم اغفر لي كل ذنب أذنبته وكل خطيئة أخطأتها. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك بذكرك وأستشفع بك إلى نفسك وأسألك بجودك أن تدنيني من قربك وأن توزعني شكرك وأن تلهمني ذكرك. اللهم إني أسألك السؤال خاضعا متذلل خاشع أن تسامحني وترحمني وتجعلني بقسمك راضيا قانعا وفي جميع الأحوال متواضعا. اللهم وأسألك السؤال من اشتدت فاقته وأنزل بك عند الشدائد حاجته وعظم فيما عندك رغبته. اللهم عظم سلطانك وعلى مكانك وخفي مكرك وظهر أمرك وغلب قهرك وجرت قدرتك ولا يمكن الفرار من حكومتك. اللهم لا أجد لذنوبي غافرة ولا لقبائحي ساترة ولا لشيء من عملي القبيح بالحسن مبدلا غيرك. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك وبحمدك. ظلمت نفسي ظلمت نفسي ظلمت وتجرأت بجهلي وسكنت إلى قديم ذكرك لي ومنك علي. اللهم مولاي كم من قبيح سترته وكم من فادح من البلاء يقلته وكم من عثار وقيته وكم من مكروه دفعته وكم من ثناء جميل لست أهلا له نشرته. اللهم عظم بلاغي وأفرت بي سوء حالي وقصرت بي عمالي وقعدت بي أغلالي وحبسني عن نفعي بعد أملي وخدعتني الدنيا بغرورها ونفسي بجنايتها ومطالي. يا سيدي فأسألك بعزتك ألا يحجب عنك دعائي سوء عملي وفعالي ولا تفضحني بخفي ما اطلعت عليه من سري ولا تعاجلني بالعقوبة على ما عملته في خلواتي من سوء فعلي وإساءتي ودوام تفريطي وجهالتي وكثرة شهواتي وغفلتي. وكن اللهم بعزتك لي في كل الأحوال رؤوفا وعلي في جميع الأمور عطوفا. إلهي وربي من لي غيرك أسأله كشف الضر والنظر في أمري. إلهي ومولاي، أجريت علي حكما اتبعت فيه هوى نفسي، ولم أحترس فيه من تزيين عدوي، فغرني بما أهوى وأسعده على ذلك القضاء، فتجاوزت بما جرى علي من ذلك بعد حدودك، وخالفت بعض أوامرك، فلك الحمد علي في جميع ذلك، ولا حجة لي فيما جرى علي فيه قضاؤك، وألزمني حكمك وبلاغك. وقد أتيتك يا إلهي بعد تقصيري وإسرافي على نفسي، معتذرا نادما منكسرا مستغفرا منيبا مقرا مذعنا معتذرا، لا أجد مفرا مما كان مني، ولا مفزعا نتوجه إليه في أمري غير قبولك عذري، وإدخالك إياي في سعة من رحمتك. اللهم فاقبل عذري وارحم شدته، وفكني من شدي وثاقي. يا رب ارحم ضعف بدني ورقة جلدي ودقة عظمي. يا من بدأ خلقي وذكري وتربيتي وبري وتغذيتي، هبني لابتداء كرمك وسالف برك بي. يا إلهي وسيدي وربي، أتراك معذب بنارك بعد توحيدك، وبعد من طوى عليه قلبي من معرفتك، ولهج به لساني من ذكرك، واعتقده ضميري من حبك، وبعد صدق اعترافي ودعائي خاضعا لربوبيتك. هيهات هيهات، أنت أكرم من أن تضيع من ربيته، أو تبعد من أدنيته، أو تشرد من آويته، أو تسلم إلى البلاء من كفيته ورحمته. وليت شعري يا سيدي وإلهي ومولاي، أتسلط النار على وجوه خرت لعظمتك ساجدة، وعلى ألسن نطقت بتوحيدك الصادقة وبشكرك مادحة، وعلى قلوب اعترفت بإلهيتك محققة، وعلى ضمائر حوات من العلم بك حتى صارت خاشعة، وعلى جوارح سعت إلى أوطان تعبدك طاعية، وأشارت باستغفارك مذعنا. ما هكذا الظن بك، ولا أخبرنا بفضلك عنك يا كريم يا ربي، وأنت تعلم ضعفي عن قليل من بلاء الدنيا وعقوباتها، وما يجري فيها من المكاره على أهلها، على أن ذلك بلاء ومكروه، قليل مكتوم، يسير بقاؤه، قصير مدته. فكيف احتمالي لبلاء دار الآخرة، وجليل وقوع المكاره فيها، وهو بلاء تطول مدته ويدوم مقامه ولا يخفف عن أهله، لأنه لا يكون إلا عن غضبك وانتقامك وسخطك، وهذا ما لا تقوم له السماوات والأرض. يا سيدي فكيف لي وأنا عبدك الضعيف الذليل الحقير المسكين المستكبر. يا إلهي وربي وسيدي ومولاي، لأي الأمور إليك أشكو، ولما منها أضج وأبكي، لأليم العذاب والشدة أم لطول البلاء ومدته؟ فلئن صيرتني للعقوبات مع أعدائك، وجمعت بيني وبين أهل بلائك، وفرقت بيني وبين أحبائك وأوليائك، فهبني يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي وربي. صبرت على عذابك، فكيف أصبر على فراقك؟ وهبني صبرت على حر نارك، فكيف أصبر على النظر إلى كرامتك؟ أم كيف أسكن في النار ورجاء عفوك؟ فبعزتك يا سيدي ومولاي أقسم صادقا، لئن تركتني ناطقا لأضجن إليك بين أهلها ضجيج الآمنين، ولا صرخن إليك صراخ المستصرخين، ولا أبكين عليك بكاء الفاقدين، ولا أنادينك أين كنت يا ولي المؤمنين. يا غاية آمال العارفين، يا غياث المستغيثين، يا غياث المستغيثين، يا غياث يا حبيب قلوب الصادقين، ويا إله العالمين. أفتراك سبحانك يا إلهي وبحمدك تسمع فيها صوت عبد مسلم سجن فيها بمخالفته، وذاق طعم عذابها بمعصيته، وحبس بين أطباقها بجرمه وجريرته، وهو يضج إليك ضجيج مؤمل لرحمتك، ويناديك بلسان أهل توحيدك، ويتوسل إليك بربوبيتك. يا مولاي فكيف يبقى في العذاب وهو يرجو ما سلف من حلمك؟ أم كيف تؤلمه النار وهو يأمل فضلك ورحمتك؟ أم كيف يهرقه لهيبها وأنت تسمع صوته وترى مكانه؟ أم كيف يشتمل عليه ذفيرها وأنت تعلم ضعفه؟ أم كيف يتقلقل بين أطباقها وأنت تعلم صدقه؟ أم كيف تزجره زبانيتها وهو يناديك يا ربه؟ أم كيف يرجو فضلك في عتقه منها فتتركه فيها؟ هيهات هيهات، ما ذلك الظن بك ولا المعروف من فضلك، ولا مشبه لما عاملت به الموحدين من برك وإحسانك. فباليقين أقطع لولا ما حكمت به من تعذيب جاحديك وقضيت به من إخلاد معانديك لجعلت النار كلها بردا وسلاما، فما كان لأحد فيها مقرا ولا مقاما، لكنك تقدست أسماؤك أقسمت أن تملأها من الكافرين من الجنة والناس أجمعين، وأن تخلد فيها المعاندين، وأن تجلت ثناؤك قلت مبتدئا وتطولت بالإنعام متكرما، أفمن كان مؤمنا كمن كان فاسقا لا يستوون. إلهي وسيدي فأسألك بالقدرة التي قدرتها وبالقضية التي حتمتها وحكمتها وغلبت من عليه أجريتها أن تهب لي في هذه الليلة وفي هذه الساعة كل جرم أجرمته وكل ذنب أذنبته وكل قبيح أسررته وكل جهل عملته كتمته أو أعلنته أخفيته أو أظهرته وكل سيئة أمرت بإثباتها الكرام الكاتبين الذين وكلتهم بحفظ ما يكون مني وجعلتهم شهودا علي مع جوارحي، وكنت أنت الرقيب علي من ورائهم والشاهد لما خفي عنهم، وبرحمتك أخفيت وبفضلك سترت، وأن توفر حظي من كل خير أنزلت أو إحسان فضلت أو بر نشرت أو رزق بسطت أو ذنب تغفر أو خطأ تستر. يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي يا رب يا ربي يا رب يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي ومالك رقي، يا من بيده ناصيتي، يا عليما بضري ومسكنتي، يا خبيرا بفقري وفاقتي، يا ربي يا رب يا رب يا ربي يا رب يا رب جميعا يا ربي يا أسألك بحقك وقدسك وعظم صفاتك وأسمائك أن تجعل أوقاتي من الليل والنهار بذكرك معمورة وبخدمتك موصولة وعامالي عندك مقبولة، حتى تكون عامالي وأورادي كلها وردا واحدا وحالي في خدمتك سرمدا. يا سيدي يا من عليه معولي، يا من إليه شكوت أحوالي، يا ربي يا رب يا ربي يا رب يا ربي يا رب قوي على خدمتك جوارحي واشتد على العزيمة جوانحي، وهب لي الجد في خشيتك والدوام والاتصال في خدمتك، والدوام في الاتصال بخدمتك حتى أسرح إليك في ميادين السابقين وأسرع إليك في المبارزين وأشتاق إلى قربك في المشتاقين وأدنو منك دنو المخلصين وأخافك مخافة الموقنين واجتمع في جوارك مع المؤمنين. اللهم ومن أرادنا بسوء فأرده ومن كادنا فكده واجعلنا من أحسن عبيدك نصيبا عندك وأقربهم منزلة منك وأخصهم زلفة لديك فإنه لا ينال ذلك إلا بفضلك وجد لي بجودك واعطف علي بمجدك واحفظني برحمتك واجعل لساني بذكرك لهجا وقلبي بحبك متيما ومن علي بحسن إجابتك وأقلني عثرتي واغفر ذلتي فإنك قضيت على عبادك بعبادتك وأمرتهم بدعائك وضمنت لهم الإجابة فإليك يا ربي نصبت وجهي وإليك يا ربي مددت فإليك يا ربي نصبت وجهي وإليك يا ربي مددت فبعزتك استجب لي دعائي وبلغني مناي ولا تقطع من فضلك رجائي واكفني شر الجن والإنس من عدائي يا سريع الرضا يا سريع الرضا اغفر لمن لا يملك إلا الدعاء فإنك فعال لما تشاء يا من اسمه دواء وذكره شفاء وطاعته غنى ارحم من رأس ماله الرجاء وسلاحه البكاء يا سابغ النعم يا دافع النقام يا نور المستوحشين في الظلام يا عالما لا يعلم صل على محمد وآل محمد وافعل بنا ما أنت أهله وصلى الله على رسوله والأئمة الميامين من آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. فاتحة. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا أبي عبد الله الحسين وجعلنا وإياكم من الطالبين بثأره مع ولي الإمام المهدي عجل الله فرجه الشريف. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, brothers and sisters. Today, inshallah, we've gathered over here as we had yesterday to commemorate the 40th day after the event of Ashura, the 40th of Sayyid al-Shuhada al-Husayn ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi afdal salatu wassalam. And our series of talk had started yesterday on the topic of A Pure Life by Sheikh Saleem Bhimji. As I had mentioned, alhamdulillah, we had the pleasure of hearing and we were blessed with his presence last year as well. And he had spoken about the journey beyond the world. And inshallah, as I said, he'll be talking about a pure life. He started on the topic yesterday. And inshallah, today will be the part 2 of this topic. The permission of the Shaykh, just a few poetic verses, inshallah, in the honor of Sayyid al-Shuhada. Allah salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The poet writes, and it's in Urdu that the poet writes that indeed today it is also the voice of, as if the voice of Lady Zainab Salamullah alayha still comes to this day, where she cries out that I haven't forgotten you, O Hussein, your beautiful radiant face, your eyes. When was I ever able to forget that? Aaj bhi Zainab ki aati hai sada bhai Hussein. Aaj bhi Zainab ki aati ہے صدا بھائی حسین تیرا چہرہ تیری آنکھیں بھول کب پائی حسین آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین چلتے ناقے سے گرایا خود کو جلتی ریت پر چلتے ناقے سے گرایا خود کو جلتی ریت پر گھٹنیوں کے بل میں تیری لاش تک آئی حسین بس میں گھبرائی تھی خنجر تجھ پہ چلتا دیکھ کر ہاں بس میں گھبرائی تھی خنجر تجھ پہ چلتا دیکھ کر پھر کسی مشکل میں گھر کر میں نہ گھبرائی حسین کون تھا جو مرنے والوں میں نہیں تھا خوب رو کون تھا جو مرنے والوں میں نہیں تھا خوب رو بھولنے بیٹھی تو کس کس کی نہ یاد آئی حسین بہہ رہے تھے آنکھ سے آنسو تیری رخصت کے وقت بہہ رہے تھے آنکھ سے سو تیری رخصت کے وقت پھر کوئی آنسو نہ ٹپکا آنکھ پتھرائی حسین آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون صلوا على محمد وآل محمد Brothers and sisters, just an announcement, inshallah, Salatul Jummah will take place tomorrow at 12:06 p.m. inshallah, led by Sheikh Shafiq Huda. And on Saturday, as it was announced yesterday as well, and it's been out today, there are guidelines, few guidelines have been sent out for the walk. The walk will be on 11th November on Saturday. That'll start at 2:30 p.m. And the gathering point will be 425 University Avenue East. And brothers and sisters who will be driving, they're requested to drop off their family and friends at the gathering location. They'll park their cars at the IHS, and there are volunteers available who can shuttle the drivers back to the gathering location. Without any further delay, I'd like to request Sheikh Saleem Bhimji to address on the topic of a pure life. Allahu salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Let's recite Surah Al-Fatiha and ask Allah to give the thawab to all the marhumeen from our family, our community, our friends, the ulama and the shuhada, please. Surah Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وسيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين المنتجبين، لا سيما مولانا وسيدي صاحب العصر والزمان، روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء، وأجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف، ولعنة دائمة على أعدائهم ومنكر فضائلهم إلى الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. For the hastening of the return of our 12th Imam, Imam al-Hujjah, one salawat upon Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمسابنا بأبا عبد الله al-Husayn alayhi salatu wassalam. May Allah give all of us here tonight a grand reward for commemorating the tragedy of Abu Abdullah and the family of Hussein. Not only on this day, the day of Arbaeen, which passed earlier on today, not only for the last 40 days from Muharram that we began the commemoration, but for all of the days and nights and the years that we've all been commemorating the tragedy of Karbala. And as we know, and I touched on this last night, and just as a brief introduction this evening, that no matter how far we distance or how far we have gone from the day of Ashura in the year 61 after the Hijrah, some 1300 some odd years have passed since the tragedy of Karbala, but the grief ceases to be contained within the hearts of the believers. As we mentioned, on the day of Arbaeen, 1400 almost years ago, two people gathered in Karbala to give their respects to Sayyid al-Shuhada. Two people, Jabir ibn Abdullahi Ansari and Atiyah, were there on the first Arbaeen of Sayyid al-Shuhada. And today, who could have imagined, 1300 years later, that not 2, not 20, not 200, but 20 million people are now gathering in Karbala. Indeed, it's just as Rasulullah had mentioned in that beautiful hadith, that in the killing of Hussein, in the martyrdom of Sayyid al-Shuhada, there is a passion which will exist in the hearts of the believers in relation to this tragedy, which will never ever subside. And we ask Allah as we continue this evening, that as we continue to progress forward to the dawn of our 12th Imam, we ask Allah to allow that love and that passion for Sayyid al-Shuhada to continuously burn within our hearts. We ask Allah to give us the tawfiq to have the love for the ziyarat of Sayyid al-Shuhada. We ask Allah to give those zawar of Abu Abdullah who have gone for Arbaeen, we ask Allah to allow them to complete the ziyarat and return back home safely. And we ask Allah that through the barakat of this majlis this evening, that Allah gives each and every one of us and our family and our friends the tawfiq to go next year to Karbala for the day of Arbaeen. For the fulfillment of all of these and all of our other hajat, one salawat upon Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, please. As we mentioned last night, for those who are here, we began this topic of how to live a pure life, what we call hayatun tayyibah. Based not on my own words, but based on the verse of the Quran from Surah Al-Nahl, chapter number 16, verse number 97, where Allah tells us, where He says, "Man amila salihan min dhakrin aw untha, wa huwa mu'minun, falanuhyiyannahu hayatan tayyibatan." Allah gave us forth His promise. Allah gives promises in the Quran many times to you and I as believers. And as we know, Allah says, who is more truthful in their promise than Allah? وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ قِيلًا. Allah said, whoever does righteous actions, man amila salihan, whoever does good deeds. Obviously, as I introduce this as a refresher, we are not limited in good deeds. Somebody asked me one time, a few years ago, they said that Allah says in the Quran, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. This phrase is there so many times. Those who believe and do good deeds. Somebody asked me, what are good deeds in Islam? Why didn't Allah list them in the Quran? And obviously, if you think about it, it would be impossible for Allah to enumerate, to list, to quantify every good deed that you and I should be doing in our lives. That's impossible. We have aql, we have an intellect, and if our aql is sound, if it is a sound intellect, it's not been polluted, corrupted by secularism, by other ideologies, by our own nafsul amara, which is pushing us towards evil, we should be able to tell for ourselves what are good actions. But one of the scholars give a very beautiful definition of what is amalu salih. What are good deeds? And this isn't the crux of it, but it's a good way to understand it. And he said that a good action that you and I could do today in 2017 are those actions, is to continue those actions which began in the past, those good actions, continue to build upon them and begin to create new positive ripples and effects within society. So it's not only about, starting up new traditions, it's what has been done in the past. Our forefathers came, they built centers, they brought forth religious programs. It's up to the new generations to continue the good of the past and then to build on for the future, so that when our children grow and they come and they have majalis, they don't start from square one. They don't say, where will we rent a hall? Where will we call a scholar? What will we do? How will we set our program up? No, because they have a foundation, a base, just like we have. These majalis that we have tonight, that Muslims around the world are doing, these are a tradition, brothers and sisters, that have been there since the days of Islam, since the tragedy of Karbala, since that tragic supreme sacrifice. Majalis to commemorate that event were a part and parcel of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Just to give you an example, we'll obviously mention more in the Masa'ib, but when the Kafala left Sham, left the cursed Yazid and were then on the way back home, and Imam Sajjad alayhi salam told the head of the caravan that I want to take my family back to Karbala. We're told that for at least 3 days they stayed in Karbala. To do what? To cry, to lament, to hear the tragedy, to do matam, to do the latmiyah, to beat their chest, to lament over the tragedy. These majalis we have, sometimes the youth ask, this is all a cultural thing, we brought it from back home. No, this was a tradition established by Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. The majalis, the gatherings we have are not a tradition in the sense of a tradition which you can just break and form a new culture or a new way of doing things. This is a part and parcel of our religion. In fact, and I'll just mention this before I move on, that there's a hadith that comes to us from our fifth Imam, Imam al-Baqir alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And what does the Imam say? The Imam tells his son, the sixth Imam. The fifth Imam is about to die. He's on his deathbed. He's giving wasiyah, testimony. He's giving his will to his son. He tells his son, the sixth Imam, I'm leaving you an amount of money. I'm leaving you an amount of money for the next 20 years for you to hold majlis in Mina when the Hujjaj are going to Mina. Hold majlis, remember me, remember the Ahlul Bayt, remember our tragedies, remember what happened to us. As the hadith says, Rahimallah, man ahya amrana. May Allah have mercy on those who keep our tradition alive. The fifth Imam gives his son an amount of money and says, use this for majlis after I die. So brothers and sisters, this tradition of majlis, of crying, of gathering together is not traditional that we can change it. Yes, the form can change. The style of the speaker can change. Today we use PowerPoint. We have things that weren't done 1,000 years ago. But the substance, the form will stay, but the substance will change. But tradition of Arbaeen, as we also mentioned last night, is ingrained in our tradition. It had begun by the Ahlul Bayt when they arrived in Karbala. And as we know, it will continue long until we die and our community passes on. And this will probably continue until the time of our 12th Imam, Imam al-Hujjah, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farjahu sharif. So to sum up what we had mentioned yesterday, we talked about this verse that I just mentioned. Whoever has righteous actions, man amila salihan. And Allah says what? That you are a male or a female. We said of the fact that Allah does not discriminate. A man who does good actions, he'll get a reward. A woman who does good deeds, she'll get a reward. In fact, sometimes Allah is so merciful that even when a woman does not do her deeds, she gets a reward. Because we know that women, certain times of the month, do not fast, they do not pray. They're in action, they're in, they're not praying, they're not fasting, is actually thawab for them. But Allah gives everybody a reward. Obviously our rewards are equal to our niyat. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Indeed, your actions are based on your intentions. You get reward for the actions. But Allah tells us, male or female, you do good. And you are a believer. You have to believe in the message. Once you believe, you couple that with action. You're a male or a female. Allah says what? We will allow you to live a pure life. فَلَنُحْيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبًا, as the verse says. And the verse continues on. But we got to this point where we looked at what is a pure life. We reflect on the fact that we have a differentiation. We have the animal kingdom, we have the plant kingdom, then we have inanimate objects, inorganic objects, the rugs, the mountains, rocks, things that don't have life. We, as we mentioned and we tried to clarify last night, as human beings, we have a life. But we share a lot of characteristics. We talked about the definition of life, the 5 qualities, the ability to grow, to reproduce, to move forward. We had all of those qualities that we share with the animal kingdom, with the plant kingdom. Plants also need nourishment. Plants need food. They have the water. They need minerals. They need sunlight to grow. Animals eat. We eat. The cows eat. The sheep eat. The camels eat. We also eat. But what would differentiate you and I in our life from the animal kingdom? If I just wake up, I go to work, I go to school, I get my paycheck, I have parties on the weekend, I go back and repeat that same routine, eat, sleep, have fun, reproduce, die, where am I any different than a plant or an animal who does the exact same thing? And so we talked about the fact that the difference between you and I as human beings and our life and the difference with the animal kingdom is we have a concept of the soul, the spirit, the ruh, something which differentiates us from the other creations out there. And that soul has to be fed. Just like our body is fed food, water, sunlight, oxygen, all of these things that we need to live physically as animals, because we are, after all, on the animal kingdom, we need the spirit to be also fed. Spirituality, knowledge, which is what I want to look at tonight. Knowledge obviously becomes the key to all of these things. The verse talked about that you perform those actions, you believe, and you have that pure life granted to you. But what I want to look at tonight in the conclusion of this discussion are these traits of how do we gain that pure life. As I mentioned last night, I want to give us some practical ways to understand a pure life. What can we do to get that life that Allah speaks about? Because it's not only reserved for the akhirat, for the world to come. Yes, in that world we'll have a unique existence. But Allah says, فَلَنُحْيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً in this life. So there is a differentiator. That there are people, as we said today, who are walking around in society. Maybe we live with them, maybe we work with them, maybe we go to school with them. And they are walking dead. They are walking zombies, literally. Their whole life is just concerned about food, drink, fun, pleasure. They're not thinking about the soul. They're not thinking about a world to come. And I don't blame them, because that is the environment they were brought up in. We just happen to be born into a Muslim family, so it makes it easier for us to understand these concepts. I don't blame people out there who don't see the things of the world that we see them, who are only engaged in the world because that's what they've been taught. Right? And many of our youth, unfortunately, that's what they've also been shown in the world. But when we wake up from that slumber, as Amir al-Mu'mineen would say, "An-nasu ni'am, idha matu intabahu." People are asleep. When they die, they come to attention. Inshallah, we've gotten to the state of waking up before we make our journey outside of this world. And so we have to be those who can also give this message to the people. You know, this whole tragedy of Karbala. And you all know, I'm sure that you've taken part in the marches and processions in Muharram. Who is Hussein and all these campaigns around the world. It's to show the humanity that there is another aspect of this life. Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salam is an individual that people become acquainted with, become known about, that they can also change their lives, just as you and I change our lives, coming in the majlis of Muharram to commemorate Imam Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. So last night I talked about one of the aspects of how to attain this pure life, to be a different human being than the rest of the people out there in society, to make ourselves somebody different in the world. Be somebody special. Don't be like a cookie cutter. You're just like everybody else. No, to look at the world and change and be a changer in the world today. Unfortunately, many of us in our society, not in this room, many in our society, we just follow the trends. Right? Whatever happens in the world, we follow it. But we have ceased, as Muslims, as a community, we've ceased to be trendsetters. Right? There were times when Muslims ruled the world, where we dictated philosophy, where we dictated the arts, the culture, medicine, mathematics, inventions. It was the Arabs, the Muslim world, that were bringing these forth. Unfortunately, we somehow, the Muslim community, lost that way. And we became followers rather than leaders within our societies. So how do we come back to that pure life where we have a unique form of existence? Point number one that we looked at last night was the verse in Surah number 8, where Allah told us, "O you who believe, istajibu lillahi wa lirasul idha da'akum lima yuhyikum." Answer the call of Allah and His Messenger when they call you to that which gives you life. We said that we're all alive in this room. Why would Allah invite me to hear the call of Allah and His Messenger to give me life if I'm already physically alive? Hopefully we read and we thought about that verse last night. It was a bit of homework for all of us. If we didn't, again, please go back and look at this verse. Think about it. What does it mean? Answer the call of Allah. We're all Muslims. We've answered the call of Allah already, aren't we? We're followers of Rasulullah. Have we attained that life that Allah talks about? That answer that call that will give us life. That was the first thing, was obedience. Answering the call of Rasul and Allah. Following it to gain that life, to gain that new form of life, a pure life, which is something other than the animalistic, hedonistic life that the society is engulfed in. It's different than Hayatul Dunya, what we looked at also last night, and the 70-some odd references in the Quran to Hayatul Dunya, which was about lahaw and la'ib and fun and pleasure and temporary games that we have. That was number one that we looked at last night. Number two, which I've already touched upon, are faith and good actions. Islam has that as a criteria for all of our good deeds. For everything that we do, faith, iman, and good actions. Obviously, that also means that our intentions have to be pure. And this is one of the greatest challenges really in the world today. If we think about it, when it comes to the dunya, intentions aren't important. For the most part. For the most part, intentions are not a big thing. Right? You don't think about when you do certain things in the world. When you go out to shovel your snow on the driveway or to clean out your car, you don't have the intention, I'm going out to clean the snow, qurbatan lillahi ta'ala. You just go and do it. You get your jacket on, you go, you clean the snow, you're done. We don't think about it. Right? But when it comes to Islamic actions, and Islam should really be everything in our life, the intention, not only is it important, but many times our intention is more important than our actions, because as I said, our actions are based on our intention. Today we have many organizations, many institutions who want to alleviate poverty, help the orphans in Syria, in Iraq, in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, in Bahrain, in Yemen. So many institutions are working. They're doing all of these good actions. And we're helping by giving money, giving in the cause. But it's not only important to open up our wallet or purse and give the credit card or give a few dollars. That's easy to do. But the question comes is, what is my intention? Why I do these actions? It's like that story of Bahlul. I'm sure we've all heard of Bahlul before. Companion of the 7th Imam. He was a very sane individual. People call him Majnoon, Junoon. They said he's crazy. And there's a story because at the time of the 7th Imam, we know that the pressure on Ahlul Bayt was severe. Not only on the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, but their companions. The Bani Abbas find out, you're a Shia, you're gone. Right? That's how Baghdad was built. We know that from the blood of the Sadat. That's why some scholars say it's makruh to spend the night in Baghdad, because it was built by the blood and the bones of the Sadat, literally. Walls were built in the city, and the Sayyids were put in the wall, and their blood was used to make the bricks to build Baghdad. So some ulama say, makruh to stay in Baghdad overnight. So some of the groups will go for ziyarah and leave right away. But Bahlul, he was a very sane man. He was an intellectual, a faqih, a jurist. But there was pressure on the Ahlul Bayt and their followers, and 3 companions go to the Imam and they ask, what do we do? Right? What do we do? We're in such a difficult situation. Just like today, the brothers in Iraq, pressure was on them from Daesh. They go to Sayyid Sistani, what do we do? Sayyid gives a fatwa, protect your homeland. That's why the brothers formed that force to protect the country. This is a tradition that we have. We go to our ulama. We ask our real scholars, what do we do in these situations? They go to the 7th Imam. He takes a piece of paper. He writes the letter Jim on that paper, just one letter. 3 people take it in 3 different ways. One take it to mean hijrah, to journey, to move away. One takes it to mean jihad. He fights. He does his responsibility. Bahlul says, no, it means to me to become junoon, to pretend to be insane. But you look at the man and you read the stories of Bahlul, and there's books available. You see how smart of a man Bahlul was. He played to be dumb, but he was very brilliant. So Bahlul, he's one of these individuals that we see, and Bahlul shows us that even through the ways that he would speak and act, that he was a very sane individual. And so he would come out and pretend to be in this way, and he would show to the world how to act. He would teach the Shia ways to think, ways to react, and ways to get around the system that he was living in at that time. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. One more salawat upon Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So even when it came to intentions, the niyat, Bahlul showed us that when that event happened, when the wife of the Khalifa came, and one day he was sitting near the shore of the river, and he was building castles out of the sand. Building sand castles, and the wife, I think her name was Zubaydah, she comes to Bahlul and she says, Bahlul, what are you doing? And he says, I'm building castles in Jannah. I'm building castles in Jannah. Do you want to buy one? And she knew he was a bit, she thought he was not all up there, but he obviously knew what he was doing. And she was just playing him on. I said, yeah, let's just go on with this game that Bahlul's playing. She says, yeah, I'll buy one of your castles. And she asks how much. He says, 2 gold coins, let's say, or 1 or 2 gold coins. Her intention was to, maybe to actually get that castle in Jannah. She gives him the gold. He builds the castle. She leaves. She goes back to her husband, the Khalifa, the king of the Muslim community. He asks her, where were you? And she says, I was here and there walking around and I met Bahlul. And obviously when that name comes up, everybody wants to hear, what is Bahlul up to today? Because he's always doing something to get people to think. And she says, well, he was selling castles in Jannah, so I bought a castle. So, oh, he's selling castles in Jannah. How much? He says, only 2 coins. And he got a bit upset because, sometimes the richer you get, the stingier you are. You look at these people in the world today, all these tax shelters, people like Trump, and even our own government politicians, our finance minister with millions in offshore bank accounts. They're millionaires, they're billionaires, but they don't want to pay maybe $1 million in taxes. Because the more richer you get, the more stingier you become. That's why all these Panama Papers and all these tax shelters exist, to let companies like Apple and Nike hide their money. So the king says, 2 dirhams you paid? What a waste. And she's like, no, this is my belief. My intention was to get this castle in Jannah. Okay, no problem. So again, the story is about intention. He goes to sleep that night and he sees that he's walking in the Akhirat. And he sees a beautiful palace and there's a sign, the palace of Zubaydah, his wife. He goes to try to walk into it and he's prevented. He says, no, you can't come into this. This is not your palace. This is Zubaydah's palace. And so he wakes up and he goes to her and he asks her all the questions. What happened with Bahlul? Where is he? How can I get a palace? So he runs to Bahlul. He finds him and he says, Bahlul, you sold my wife a palace in Jannah yesterday. I saw a dream. I saw the palace. Now I want to buy one. Here's half of my kingdom, for example, or thousands of gold coins, whatever you want. And he says to him, he says, I'm not going to sell to you. What do you mean? I'm giving you so much money. He says, no, you are buying it because you saw it. You saw what was going to get, what you would get. Your wife bought it on the niyyah, but she didn't know what was actually going to be there. She was banking on what I was telling her. Right? It's all about the intention in Islam. Why are we doing certain things? Why do we come to the majalis? Why do we give donations to projects? Why do we do anything? All about the intention. So yes, Iman and Amal al-Salih is important. But even before you get to the action, stop and think, why am I about to do this good action? Am I doing it because I'm being pressured? to give to a cause? I don't believe in it, but I should give because people around me are giving. Am I being pressured to do whatever I'm doing, especially when we're young kids, when we're young boys and girls, and our parents tell us, go and pray your namaz on time, go and pray your salat. And sometimes maybe our parents will tempt us, you know, I'll give you $1, I'll give you $10. You won't get dinner if you don't pray. I won't, I won't take you out or something. I won't give you the Wi-Fi password at home. And so we do it because we want what we're getting from our parents. Why are we doing, the children, we have to ask them, they have to ask themselves, am I doing it to please Allah, to please my parents, or am I doing it for that reward that they will give me? All of us, I'm not at that age, but maybe I do the same thing. Allah, I'm going to pray 2 rakats, nafala tonight because I know I'll get something from you. Right? It's the worship of the tujjar, of the businessman. I'm trading with Allah. Allah, I'll give you prayer. You give me paradise. I'll give you hajj. You give me this. I'll give you Imam Hussein majalis. You give me something in return. We have to ask ourselves internally, what is my niyyah? What is my intention behind why I do these actions? And the third and final point, and this is what we want to really develop, I won't go too much detail tonight, is that to get to that hayatun tayyibah, that pure life, it's, yes, obedience to the Prophet, it's actions, it's thinking, it's intention, but also it comes all the way back down to knowledge. Not just a superficial knowledge, but a deep knowledge of this religion. Really, without knowledge, we cannot practice. We cannot be true people awaiting the dhuhr of our 12th Imam. It's impossible. Right? You look at everything in the world today, everything centers on knowledge. You want to go and invest money in the stock market. Do you just have an app and you push a button and randomly it picks stocks for you? No, we don't do that. We go and we get knowledge, we research, we look at what companies are doing, what is their growth like, where are they, we look at everything before we invest money in the stock market. We go to our financial advisor at the bank. We don't just say, here's 50,000, invest it wherever you feel like it. No, we want to do our own due diligence. And we will spend literally sometimes weeks, months, investigating where we should put our money. Now imagine if we did the same thing with religion. Why do I pray? Why do I come to the majalis of Muharram? Why do I do these actions? Right? When I get to that level of questioning, and not just questioning and then leaving it, but questioning and following it up with research, asking the right people the right questions. Brothers and sisters, sometimes we get into this rut that whatever we read on the internet, we accept it. We see a YouTube video of some sheikh who's dressed up like a scholar. We won't ask what the credentials are. We'll accept it. He must be a scholar because he's got the clothing on. But we don't say that about doctors. Oh, look, a guy's got a white jacket on. He must be a doctor. No, because there can be people who are fooling us. We take those credentials, we look for them. When it comes to knowledge, we have to be the same, especially about Islam. Especially about Islam. And especially in these days in the Akhir al-Zaman, where we see so much turmoil. I mean, I'm not predicting the dhuhr of the Imam, because whoever does that is a liar. But look at the hadith that talk about the dhuhr of the Imam. We're told that Yemen plays such a very important role in the dhuhr of the Imam. Sham, Syria plays a role in the Imam. The Hijaz, Saudi Arabia plays a role in the dhuhr of the Imam. These countries are so much in the news today. Do we think that maybe the dhuhr could happen? Maybe. We don't know. Nobody knows other than Allah. Even our 12th Imam has no knowledge. No, even he doesn't know when his dhuhr will happen. That's why he's muntazir and muntazar. He is awaited and he is awaiting the time. We don't know. Allah says, إِنَّهُمْ يَرَوْنَهُ بَعِيدًا وَنَرَاهُ قَرِيبًا. We, all of us, think that the dhuhr could be 50, 60, 100, 500 years. We don't know. Allah says, وَنَرَاهُ قَرِيبًا. We deem it to be close at hand. Knowledge, the point being is we have to get to a level, brothers and sisters, where we are able to elevate our knowledge. You know, there's a very beautiful story that happened in the time of one of our scholars, the late Allama Muhammad Taqi Ja'fari, may Allah raise his rank. He died in the year 1998, I believe it was, in Tehran. Actually, he died in UK, medical treatment, but he's buried in Mashhad. But originally he was teaching in university in Tehran. A man who we probably have never heard his name, but he was a mujtahid at the age of 25. Right? We have some 25-year-olds in this room probably tonight, or around that age. He was a mujtahid, means that he had got to the level, he was at the level of a scholar where he could give fatwa. Not just a regular mullah at the mosque who could lead namaz and do an istikhara and do a namaz al-mayyit. He was in an ijtihad at 25. And they say that when he would speak in his lectures, not that he was trying to impress people with his linguistic and his knowledge skills, but he spoke what he knew. He was speaking to people in an audience whom he presumed to be just like him, intellectuals. And so the story goes that he would give lectures, whether it's at the university or in a religious setting. And it got to a point where some of the people in the audience came to him and they said, Agha, Sheikh, can you bring your majlis down a level? We can't understand what you're saying. Come down a few steps. Simplify it, water it down, teach us the ABCs of religion. And he said to them, he says, rather than me coming down, why don't you lift yourselves up? Why don't you come up, educate yourself, learn about the religion, and then we can have a heart-to-heart conversation. I don't have to water down my talk. But for us to do that today in 2017, it means all of us, men and women alike, we have to bring ourselves up to a level where we are past the elementary teachings of Islam, where we can get by, we can get over learning and hearing about the basics, and we can, ask and demand even from our scholarship that we want something at a higher level, not just basic stories and little anecdotes for 4-year-olds, but something that will make us intellectually challenged. Go home and think. What does that verse of the Quran mean? Go home and open up multiple tafasir, commentaries, and look at the opinion of our scholars. There's a story that happens at the time of our 6th Imam, Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam. And the 6th Imam, the man who formed this madhab, we know ourselves as Ja'fari Shias. We're Ja'fari because he laid that foundation, codified the teachings, put it into an all-new light. Islam that we have today, the Ja'fari madhab, if we want to call it a madhab, it's not, it's true Islam. It's pure Islam as carried by Ala Muhammad. But for sake of convenience, we call it the Ja'fari madhab. It was made by this man who was able to give to the people because they were ready to take. Right? People were ready at the time of the 6th Imam. The time of Amir al-Mu'mineen, people were foolish, literally, to the point where Amir al-Mu'mineen would go to Kufa in the desert, dig a hole, and talk in that hole. And when Kumail would ask him, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, what are you doing? We're here, we're your companions. Tell us what's on your mind. And he would say, I've got things in my chest that you guys would never appreciate. You can't understand it. He would go and talk into the well, the water well. He would go and speak to it because he knew his companions, they weren't at that level. And people didn't want to hear what Amir al-Mu'mineen had. And how could they, after 25 years of innovation and change of religion, how could you listen to a man like Amir al-Mu'mineen? So he had the knowledge, but when he says, Saluni, Saluni, qabla an tafkiduni, come and ask me before you lose me, the man would come and say, Oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, you say you know everything. How many hairs are on my face? How many beard hairs are on my face? And Imam Ali gave him a very robust answer. I don't want to go into it tonight, but it relates to Karbala. But this is the kind of attitude people had. But you fast forward to the 6th Imam, people are ready. They're sitting at the foot of the 6th Imam, learning knowledge. Thousands of students from all around the world. One day the Imam has a private majlis, a private gathering. Knowledge, look at the importance of it. A private gathering, 2 companions or a few companions are around the 6th Imam. And a man asked the sixth Imam a very simplistic question. He says, Yabna Rasulillah, O son of the Messenger of God, one of the titles of our Prophet is Abul Qasim. Why is he called Abul Qasim? It's a very innocent question, very simplistic if you think about it at a very superficial level. Why is Rasulullah called Abul Qasim? So the sixth Imam looks at this man and he knows what kind of an mental level this guy is at. He says, the Prophet had a couple of boys who were born. They died in their infancy. One of the sons was called Qasim. So in Arab culture, you're named after your child, Abul Qasim. You have a daughter named Zainab, you become Abu Zainab. You have a son, Ali, you become Abu Ali. He said, Rasulullah had a son, Qasim. He passed away, so we call him Abul Qasim. The man was happy. He walked away. He didn't think anything about it. The sixth Imam, with these other few companions that were there, he says that if this man had the internal ability, if he really wanted to know more, I would have given, I think the hadith says 6 or 7 different other reasons why the Prophet was called Abul Qasim. Yes, one of the reasons was he had a son called Qasim who died, but there are other reasons. And then the companion asked him, Ya Imam Sadiq, give us another reason why. And he said, because we believe that the one who will split heaven and hell, Qasim of Jannati and Nar, are Rasulullah and Amir al-Mu'mineen. Because Imam Ali, we call him also in one of the du'as, Qasim al-Jannati wa Nar. And because the Prophet is like the spiritual father of Amir al-Mu'mineen, so he becomes Abul Qasim. And so the Imam said, if he wanted more, I'd even give you more of why this name exists. Moral of the story for you and I is what? Moral of the story is never should we be complacent with what we get off of the mimbar. If you have a question, it's your right to question the speaker. I've seen people, I saw it recently, a speaker was speaking in a gathering and a man came to him and asked him too many questions. And you know what the speaker said? Nobody else has asked me any questions. Everybody else came and patted me on the back. MashaAllah, brother, good talk. Very good. They probably didn't know what he said, but this one man was inquisitive. It didn't make sense what this man was saying. And he said, I want to ask you a question. This orator, this speaker, he got upset at the man. Well, who are you to question me? I'm sitting up here. Who are you to tell me? Ask me a question. No, that's not the attitude. Right? For us to lift ourselves up, we have to ask the questions, but we also have to demand from our scholarship to give us more. To not only have the stories, that we hear and the little anecdotes and all of these children's, glimpses into the Quran, but to bring us up to a level. So we have to realize that we need to have that deep knowledge of the religion. And I'll conclude with this tonight. As I mentioned last night, and I'm sure as Sheikh Muhammad Ali mentioned on the first night of Muharram, 40 days ago when he was here speaking in this community, that the mission of Sayyid al-Shuhada, the true reason why Abu Abdullah alayhi salam took a stand in the month of Rajab, as you know, Muawiyah died in the month of Rajab at the end of Rajab, and it was immediately when Sayyid al-Shuhada was told, come and give bay'ah to Yazid, la'natullah alayhi, that he said that I could never do that. And he gave that testimony to his half-brother Muhammad al-Hanafiya, what he was doing. And he clearly said, I'm not going out. Inni lam akhruj ashiran wala dhaliman wala mufsidan. I'm not going out to create problems, corruption, sedition. He says, I'm going forth to establish the good and to forbid the evil, to follow in the footsteps of my grandfather and my father. What was the role of Rasulullah? You know what was the mission of Rasulullah. It was to bring people out of ignorance, right? People buried their daughters alive. Ignorance, jahal, jahiliyyah. People were doing crazy things at the time of Rasulullah before Islam out of ignorance, either willful or unknown ignorance. Sayyid al-Shuhada, his mission, what we gathered 40 nights ago to begin the commemoration and we conclude tonight, was to bring those people out of jahala and dalala, back into the light of guidance. Look at the words of our Imam when he recites the ziyarat of Arbaeen. We read it last night. Maybe some of you read it today. One of the lines, and I'll conclude with this, where we address Abu Abdullah, and the Imam taught us to recite this. We say, وَبَدَلَ مُحْجَتَهُ فِيكَ, that he gave everything. Muhja, you look in the dictionary what it means. It's not just the body, it's the entire presence, entire existence. Imam Hussein gave who? For Allah. وَبَدَلَ مُحْجَتَهُ فِيكَ, Ya Allah. He gave everything. He gave himself. He gave his head. He gave his brother Abu Fadl Abbas. Gave his son Aliul Akbar, Aliul Asghar. He gave the women. He gave everything on the day of Ashura. Why did he do it? Just so we come, put black on our halls, wear black clothes, beat our chests for 40 days, and then the day after Ashura, status quo, back to normal? You know, go back to the normal life of haram and this and that? No. وَبَدَلَ مُحْجَتَهُ فِيكَ لِيَسْتَمْكِدَ إِبَادَكَ مِنَ الْجَهَالَةِ وَحَيْرَةَ الضَّلَالَةِ, to lift your servants out of jahala, ignorance, and the misguidedness of being deviant off the path. This is, in a summary, in a nutshell, brothers and sisters, what the last 40 days and nights have been about. Why did Karbala happen? It wasn't for power. It wasn't for fame. It wasn't for glory. It wasn't for money. It wasn't for any of these things of the dunyawi. It was about bringing people out of jahala, become scholars, become knowledgeable about religion, establish the good, forbid the evil. Really, if people had knowledge, if we as an ummah had the knowledge of Islam, we wouldn't be in the situation we find ourselves in the world today, where things happen and we're the first ones to be blamed. We wouldn't be in a situation that we see the Muslim ummah in the world today. We would be in a completely different state. And if you want to see this more clearly, you look at communities around the world who have taken Abu Abdullah's mission and they have liberated their countries from occupying forces. Whether it be the Islamic Revolution in Iran, whether it be our brothers and sisters in South Lebanon, whether it be many of these groups, the young men and women in Iraq who have liberated their country. They didn't do it in a vacuum. It came out of Karbala. They took that call of Hayhat min al-Dhillah, that call that we will not submit to humiliation of Abu Abdullah. And they got to a level where they've raised their community to a level where they are now controlling much of the public policy of the world today. And as I conclude, if we want to get to that level, maybe not of becoming a nation, but to raise our personal communities, our families, and our community of believers, and maybe our cities, to a level where we can have respect in our society, where we can walk with our head up, where our women can walk with their hijab on, not be worried like what is happening in Quebec today, and other parts of Canada maybe, that we're scared or women aren't allowed to wear what they want to wear, the hijab and the coverings. Then we have to also rise and be ready to learn this religion and to give like Abu Abdullah alayhi salam gave on the day of Ashura. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Let me conclude with one or two last words about the day of Ashura. Although I mentioned last night the tragedy and the musibah of Ahlul Bayt, but let me just tie up a few loose ends that we didn't mention last night. As I said, that when Abu Abdullah alayhi salam had been martyred, we know that the Ahlul Bayt continued to suffer long after the day of Ashura. They continued on that long journey from Karbala to Kufa to Sham. Eventually, as the family were allowed to leave Sham and they were making their way back to Medina, we know that Sayyid Sajjad, who is now the Imam of the time, he's the Imam of that era. He tells the leader of the caravan, no, we go back to Karbala. Let us go back to Karbala, because remember, they had the heads. They had the severed heads of all their loved ones that were there. The head of Imam Hussein was with them according to most of the narrations. And those heads had to be buried back with their bodies. But more importantly, they had to bring closure to this tragedy They had to go one last time before home to Medina to meet the community and to begin that movement at another level, to let the community know what happened. As we said, as they were approaching to the land of Karbala, Jabir, that famous Sahabi of Rasulullah who was Ahlul Badr, a companion in the battle of Badr, and 18 other battles he fought with Rasulullah. He was an old man, Jabir. He was blind, they say, or partially blind. He goes with Atiyah, his slave, his servant. They get to Karbala. Jabir asks his servant Atiyah, he says, take me to the river Furat. Let me make a ghusl before I go to my master Hussein, before I go to Abu Abdullah. Jabir makes his way to the river Furat. He makes the ghusl to go to the ziyarat of Abu Abdullah. We're told he puts on his cleanest clothing and he takes the hand of Atiyah and they begin to walk slowly, step by step. People wonder, why is Atiyah walking fast? Jabir says, oh Atiyah, take small steps. Take small steps as we walk to our master Abu Abdullah. As they approach the grave of Abu Abdullah, keep in mind that Karbala wasn't a city. There was no gold dome. There were no beautiful minarets standing at that time. It was just the grave with a bit of dirt covering the grave of Abu Abdullah. As they begin to approach, and the Jabir goes towards the grave, he tells Atiyah, he says, put my hand on the grave of my master. Put my hand on the grave of Abu Abdullah. As he puts his hands on the grave, he begins to cry out. He says, Ya Hussein 3 times. He says, why is my Habib, why is my beloved not answering his beloved? He begins to lament, he begins to cry. We're told at that point he passes out after all of this grief. Atiyah takes a bit of water. He sprinkles it on the face of Jabir. Jabir wakes up. He begins to talk to Hussein. He begins to grieve and lament their tragedy. He tells Imam Hussein, he speaks to Atiyah as well. And he says, I swear by God, I swear by Rasulullah that we were with you, O Hussein, in Karbala. We were killed on the day of Ashura just like you were. Atiyah becomes confused. What are you saying, Jabir? We did not go through the mountains. We did not traverse the valleys. We did not have our blood spilled on Ashura. We didn't have our heads severed from our bodies. Jabir says, Oh Atiyah, I heard my Habib. I heard my beloved Rasulullah, who says that a person who wishes to be with a community, who have the intention to be with them, that they would be raised with them. Indeed, me and my companions, we wish that we were here in Karbala. We wish we were here on the day of Ashura. We would have given our heads with the heads of the companions and the family of Abu Abdullah. As this discussion continues, Atiyah says to his friend Jabir, he says, oh my master Jabir, I see black flags coming in the distance. These must be the Banu Umayyah. Jabir tells his assistant Atiyah, he says, oh Atiyah, he says, if these are Banu Umayyah, he says that this is it. We're going to be dead for being at the grave of Abu Abdullah. We're dead. He says, but if this is my master Zainul Abidin, if this is the Ahlul Bayt, then I will free you in the name of Allah. You are my freed slave immediately. They go and hide behind a tree. As this caravan begins to approach closer and closer, Atiyah tells Jabir, he tells him what he sees. There's women in the caravan. There are children in the caravan. There's a few men left in that caravan. Eventually, as they get close, Atiyah tells Jabir, oh my master, this is the Ahlul Bayt. This is the Haram of Allah. This is the Haram of Rasulullah coming back to the grave of Karbala, coming back to bid their salams to the Shuhada. As they begin to get closer, Jabir tells Atiyah, let's go a bit further away. Let the ladies and the family have a bit of comfort and quiet with themselves. Brothers and sisters, we're told that for 3 days the Ahlul Bayt stay at the shrine of Abu Abdullah. They stay at the grave. Lady Zainab, we're told, is carrying the head of her brother Hussein. Lady Zainab opens up her abaya and the head of Hussein is there. They begin to dig a hole to put their heads back into the graves. They cover the graves. They begin to recite the majlis of Hussein. They begin to beat their heads. Wa Husseina, wa Abu Abdullah. They begin to cry and lament. For 3 days and nights they begin to cry and lament the tragedy of Karbala. Imam Zainul Abidin is there to greet his father one last time. Lady Zainab is there to remember her sons, to remember her brother. Everybody who's there has lost somebody on the day of Ashura. They've all gathered together to remember that supreme sacrifice and to make their way back home to Medina, to go back home and to remind the community what happened on that tragic day of Ashura. وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلِبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ إِنَّ لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. Ya Allah, on this day, when we concluded the day of Arbaeen, the night after the day of Arbaeen, we ask you, Ya Allah, to accept all of our acts of worship from the 1st of Muharram until today. Ya Allah, we ask you to keep the love of Hussein alayhi salam in our hearts. Ya Allah, we ask you to plant the love of Hussein and the family of Hussein into the hearts of our children. Allow them to be lovers of Hussein, lovers of Zainab, lovers of the tragedy of Karbala. Ya Allah, allow all of those Zawar who have gone to Karbala, allow them all to perform the ziyarat and to return back home safely. Ya Allah, we ask you to give us all the tawfiq to make the ziyarat to Abu Abdullah alayhi salam. That when we go into paradise, that we do not look like strangers because we have been to Jannat on earth, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we ask you to keep all of us in our community, and our family, and our friends in your protection. Ya Allah, many of us are suffering many health issues. Many people are suffering all kinds of difficulties. Ya Allah, bihaqq Zainul Abidin, bihaqq Lady Zainab, bihaqq Abu Abdullah, grant all of those who are suffering any kind of illnesses and sicknesses a speedy cure and recovery. Ya Allah, keep us all on the path of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. Let us see the time of the dawn of our 12th Imam's advent, and let us be of those to be able to help and assist the Imam when he rises with Nabi Isa alayhi salam to bring forth a government of justice, of freedom and of equality. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. ماتم حسين.
Ya Hussein. 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 As we give the condolences of the Shuhada of Karbala to the Lady Zahra Salamullah alayha, mentioning, the poet mentions, says each every shaheed, and giving condolences of that shaheed to the Lady Zahra Salamullah alayha. Karbal ki kahani jab koi bhi sunayega, dil walon ki aankhon se ek darya bahaega. वो काफिला सरवर का जो शान से निकला था, सुगरा को खबर क्या थी, ना लौट के आएगा. ज़हरा ज़हरा पुरसालो बहत्तर का, ज़हरा ज़हरा पुरसालो बहत्तर का, ज़हरा ज़हरा पुरसालो बहत्तर का, ज़हरा ज़हरा पुरसालो बहत्तर का. टूटी है कमर शह की, घबराना मगर अकबर. टूटी है कमर शह की, घबराना मगर अकबर. फर्जंद नबी तेरी मैयत को उठाएगा. ज़हरा ज़हरा पुरसालो बहत्तर का, ज़हरा ज़हरा पुरसालो बहत्तर का. पामाल हुआ कासिम जब घोड़ों की टापों से, کس طرح چچا تیری میت کو اٹھائے گا زہرا زہرا قاسم کا بھی پرسا لو زہرا زہرا پرسا لو 72 کا زہرا زہرا پرسا لو 72 کا تھا ہاتھوں کے کٹنے کا کچھ غم نہ دلاور کو تھا ہاتھوں کا کٹنے کا کچھ غم نہ دلاور کو سیدانیوں کا پردہ اب کون بچائے گا زہرا زہرا عباس کا پرسا لو زہرا زہرا پرسا لو 72 کا زہرا زہرا پرسا لو 72 کا سرور نے اٹھائے تھے سب ساتھیوں کے لاشیں سرور نے اٹھائے تھے سب ساتھیوں کے لاشیں شبیر تیرا لاشا اب کون اٹھائے گا زہرا زہرا شبیر کا پرسا لو زہرا زہرا پرسا لو شہید تر کا زہرا زہرا پرسا لو 72 کا
یا حسین یا حسین پیارے نبی کی پیارے نواسی پیارے نبی کی پیارے نواسی شام کو قیدی بن کے چلی ہے پیارے نبی کی پیارے نواسی پیارے نبی کی پیاری نواسی شام کو قیدی بن کے چلی ہے آئی نہ غم میں منہ پہ اداسی آئی نہ غم میں منہ پہ اداسی شام کو قیدی بن کے چلی ہے پیارے نبی کی پیارے نواسی پیارے نبی کی پیارے نواسی شام کو قیدی بن کے چلی ہے کیسی رضا ہے حق کی رضا سے کیسی رضا ہے حق کی رضا سے پائی کی جیسے فرش شناسی پیارے نبی کی پیارے نبی کی پیارے نواسی شام کو قیدی بن کے چلی ہے بیٹوں کی دولت حق پہ لٹا دی بیٹوں کی دولت حق پہ لٹا دی لب نہ ہلائی دنیا ہلا دی پیارے نبی کی نواسی پیارے نبی کی پیارے نواسی شام کو قیدی بن کے چلی ہے صبر کی ملکہ غم کی خزادی صبر کی ملکہ غم کی خزادی شام کو قیدی بن کے چلی ہے پیارے نبی کی پیاری نواسی پیاری نبی کی پیاری نواسی شام کو قیدی بن کے چلی ہے باپ کی سیرت ماں کا سلیقہ باپ کی سیرت ماں کا سلیقہ रोशन जिसे है दीन का तरीका, प्यारे नबी की नवासी, प्यारे नबी की प्यारी नवासी, शाम को कैदी बन के चली है, बदली ये दुनिया उल्टा जमाना, बदली ये दुनिया उल्टा जमाना, शाम को कैदी बन के चली है, प्यारे नबी की प्यारे नवासी, प्यारे नबी की प्यारे नवासी, शाम को कैदी बन के चली है, बाप को रोई माँ को भी रोई, बाप को रोई माँ को भी रोई, लब न हिलाई दुनिया हिला दी, प्यारे नबी की नवासी, प्यारे नबी की प्यारी नवासी, शाम को कैदी बन के चली है, हुसैन इमाम मजलूम ववैला, हुसैन इमाम मजलूम ववैला, आयत बदश्ते करबला ववैला, हुसैन इमाम मजलूम ववैला, हज़ो अज़ादरे कुनिम ववैला, इमाम मजलूम ववैला, अकबर नौजवान चे शुद ववैला, ववैला, असगर शिर खरम चे शुद ववैला, ववैला, बसे आलम दारम चे शुद ववैला, मजलूम ववैला, इन शब जनाबे फातिमा ववैला, इमाम ववैला, हुसैन शहीद करबला ववैला, हुसैन इमाम मजलूम ववैला, हुसैन शहीद करबला ववैला, या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन, हुसैन हुसैन हुसैन, मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु
अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद। متوجه زيارة وارثة.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى ورحمة الله وبركاته، السلام عليك يا وارث آدم صفوة الله، السلام عليك يا وارث نوح نبي الله، السلام عليك يا وارث إبراهيم خليل الله، السلام عليك يا وارث موسى كليم الله، السلام عليك يا وارث عيسى روح الله، السلام عليك يا وارث محمد حبيب الله، السلام عليك يا وارث أمير المؤمنين ولي الله، السلام عليك يا ابن محمد المصطفى، السلام عليك يا ابن علي المرتضى، السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء، السلام عليك يا ابن خديجة الكبرى، السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والوتر الموتور، أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وأطعت الله ورسوله حتى أتاك اليقين، فلعن الله أمة قتلتك، ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك، ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، أشهد أنك كنت نورا في الأصلاب الشامخة والأرحام المطهرة، لم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها، ولم تلبسك من مدلهمات ثيابها. وأشهد أنك من دعائم الدين وأركان المؤمنين. وأشهد أنك الإمام البر التقي الرضي الزكي الهادي المهدي. وأشهد أن الأئمة من ولدك كلمة التقوى وأعلام الهدى والعروة الوثقى والحجة على أهل الدنيا. وأشهد الله وملائكته وأنبياءه ورسله أني بكم مؤمن وبإيابكم موقن بشرائع ديني وخواتيم عملي، وقلبي لقلبكم سلم وأمري لأمركم متبع. صلوات الله عليكم وعلى أرواحكم وعلى أجسادكم وعلى أجسامكم وعلى شاهدكم وعلى غائبكم وعلى ظاهركم وعلى باطنكم. زيارة علي الأكبر. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن نبي الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا ابن الحسين الشهيد، السلام عليك أيها الشهيد، السلام عليك أيها المظلوم وابن المظلوم. لعن الله أمة قتلتك، ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك، ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. زيارة الشهداء. السلام عليكم يا أولياء الله وأحباءه، السلام عليكم يا أصفياء الله وأوداءه، السلام عليكم يا أنصار دين الله، السلام عليكم يا أنصار رسول الله، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليكم يا أنصار فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي محمد الحسن بن علي الولي الزكي الناصح، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي عبد الله، بأبي أنتم وأمي طيبتم وطابت الأرض التي فيها دفنتم وفزتم فوزا عظيما، فيا ليتني كنت معكم فأفوز معكم. زيارة حضرة عباس. السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل العباس ابن أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الوصيين، السلام عليك يا ابن أول القوم إسلاما وأقدمهم إيمانا وأقومهم بدين الله وأحوطهم على الإسلام. أشهد لقد نصحت لله ولرسوله ولأخيك، فنعم الأخ المواسي، فلعن الله أمة قتلتك، ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك، ولعن الله أمة استحلت منك المحارم وانتهكت حرمة الإسلام، فنعم الصابر المجاهد المحامي الناصر والأخ الدافع عن أخيه المجيب إلى طاعة ربه الراغب فيما زهد فيه غيره من الثواب الجزيل والثناء الجميل وألحقك الله بدرجة آبائك في جنات النعيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم يا أئمة الهدى علي زين العابدين ومحمد الباقر وجعفر الصادق وموسى الكاظم وعلي الرضا ومحمد التقي وعلي النقي والحسن العسكري ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا سيدنا ومولانا يا صاحب العصر والزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن يا شريك القرآن يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك ودهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها